Arsenal, one of the most valuable squad in world football, at €1.32 billion travels to face Sporting CP in the Champions League quarter-final. Sporting's entire squad, worth €511 million, less than half of Arsenal's. 90 minutes later, it was a 0-0. Arsenal had created almost nothing. Sporting had hit the crossbar. David Raya had made save after save just to keep Arsenal alive. And it took a 91st minute goal from his substitutes, Kai Havertz, to rescue a 1-0 win. A €1.32 billion squad, almost knocked out by a club worth less than half that. So the question is, how, and more importantly, what does this tell us about the modern transfer market? Let's start with the financial picture, because the gap between these two clubs is enormous on paper. Arsenal's squad is valued at €1.32 billion. They have 21 full international players in the first team squad. Their current transfer record sits at a negative €280 million, meaning they have spent heavily to build what they have. Sporting CP opposite in a completely different financial reality. Their squad is valued at €511 million. Their current transfer record is positive, meaning they have made more money selling players than they have spent buying them. But here is what makes Sporting truly remarkable. Between 2018 and 2025 alone, Sporting generated €342 million in net income purely from selling players they developed themselves in their own academy. That is 66% of all their transfer income over that entire period, coming from players they produce in-house. Nuno Mendes, Joao Palhinha, developed at Sporting, sold for profit, replaced, and Sporting kept winning. This is not a club that buys success. This is a club that builds it. Now let's talk about how Sporting actually got to this stage. Because reaching the Champions League quarter-final as a Portuguese club with a squad worth €511 million against clubs spending 3 and 4 times that amount is not an accident. Sporting won all 5 of their home Champions League matches. In the previous round, they faced Bordeaux, Glimt, and overturned a 3-goal deficit to advance. That kind of resilience does not come from a transfer budget, it comes from a system, and their academy tells the full story. Sporting's youth academy, the Academia Cristiano Ronaldo, was built in 2002 and has produced some of the most recognizable names in the world football. Cristiano Ronaldo himself walked through those doors as a teenager. So did Luis Figo. The academy's philosophy is simple: develop technically and tactically complete players, gives them European experience, increase their market value, sell them at the right moment, and reinvest. It's a cycle that has allowed Sporting to triple their squad value since 2020 without spending like a super club. So back to the question. Arsenal, €1.32 billion squad, almost knocked out. Here is what that tie actually revealed about the transfer market. First, squad value does not equal system strength. Arsenal have spent heavily and built an elite squad, but Sporting have built something arguably more difficult: a repeatable system, a way of playing, recruiting, and developing that does not depend on one superstar or transfer window. When Arsenal needed a goal in the 91st minute, it was Kai Havertz, a substitute, who delivered it. Martinelli found him in the box and he finished coolly. It was a moment of individual quality, saving a team that has struggled to break down a structured, organized, well-coached Sporting side. Second, market value underestimates what systems can do. Sporting's 3 most valued players right now are Martin Dormand at €50.5 million, Ousmane Diomande at €42.5 million, and Jude Mingwanda, who joined Chelsea this summer. Not a single household name, not a single player who command the kind of profile that drive transfer market hysteria. Yet collectively, as a unit, They pushed a €1.32 billion squad to the absolute limit across 2 legs. Third, the Portuguese model is the most underrated model in world football. Sporting have tripled their squad value since 2020. They have done it without financial levers, without a billionaire owner, and without spending recklessly. They did it through structure, scouting, development, and patience. And here is where the story connects to the bigger transfer market picture. The club dominating Europe right now are not always the ones with the biggest squad on paper. Arsenal earned close to €60 million just from the Champions League phase this season. The most of any club, their deep run could generate between €80 and €100 million in total from this campaign. That money will go back into the transfer market. More signings, more squad investment. But Sporting, with a fraction of that financial power, reached the same quarter-final stage. That gap is closing not because the rich clubs are spending less, they are spending more than ever, but because the smart clubs are extracting more value from less. And that is the fundamental shift happening in the transfer market right now. The question is no longer just how much did he spend, the question is how much did he get from what he spent. Sporting answered that question better than almost any club in Europe. Arsenal are in the Champions League semi-finals. Sporting are out. On the scoreboard, Arsenal won. On the balance sheet, Sporting may have made a bigger statement. A club that develops players, sells them, reinvests, and keep competing at the highest level. That is not a small club punching above its weight. That is a model, a deliberate, structured, financially disciplined model, and every major club in Europe should be studying it. The transfer market is changing. The clubs will understand that value is not just about what you spend, but about what you build, are the ones who will define the next decade of football. Sporting might not have made the semi-finals, but in the transfer market story of 2026, they are one of the most important chapters. If you want me to break down which other clubs are running this model and which big spenders are most at risk, let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.